Hello and welcome back to the broadcast, Season 2, Episode 2. We are here with another exciting guest after the first episode of the second series where we had a recording where we talked all about electrolytes and basically the myths behind what's in electrolytes and stuff. So if you want to go back and give that one a listen. Today is an exciting guest. We've got Katie Sharkey on, who is a excellent athlete, a coach, someone who is based here in Dubai and who has moved across to Dubai from Scotland, very similar to myself. So hello, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
My absolute pleasure. Excited for your first ever podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, take it easy on me.
No, it will be fairly straightforward and it will just be pretty relaxed and chilled. I just want to get the sort of everyone to understand the gist of everything about you, your training and all sorts of things like that. So you are predominantly, what would you say? Would you say you are the true definition of a hybrid athlete, do you think?
I would. I think that term suits me pretty well. I like to keep fit. I don't like to pigeonhole myself into saying I'm a Hyrox athlete. I mean, I know if you looked at my Instagram bio, it would say that, but that just looks good for Instagram. I like to just keep myself fit. I love running. I love the social aspect of it, but I love being able to just turn my hands to whatever comes my way, which is really beneficial when you're in Dubai because there's competitions coming up every weekend.
That is good, and it is probably a bit different to like life back in Glasgow where there probably isn't that kind of like competition sort of orientated thing. There is some gyms that were hosting competitions, but it's not like every weekend like it is here, right?
No, absolutely. And usually it's with about 3 days notice here if you're lucky, so it's good to be able to just be constantly ticking over and being able to do whatever anybody needs you to do.
It is quite cool, and like everybody seems to want to get you involved. I think like with the first couple of weeks you're here, you must have had about 50 invites to 50 different competitions.
Crazy. I always make a joke to everybody. I say that I'm just that person in Dubai that everybody, when they need a teammate, they go, "Okay, he'll do it." Like it's fine. We'll just message her, he'll do it, which is always true.
That's either because you're really good or you just will never say no.
Well, I don't know.
Is there a bit of both?
I thought maybe I was like, oh, maybe it's because I'm really good. They'll want me in their team, and I'm like, surely if I was that good, I would be in the OG team. I wouldn't be filling a space. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're not in the B team. No, I think you've done pretty well though. You've had some competition wins and stuff since you came over here.
Yeah, I've done not bad. I've put my fingers in a few pies, so I'm getting there.
Happy days. It's like, that was one of the questions that I was thinking for you. Have you always been like super this much into fitness? Like, have you always sort of loved it?
Absolutely not. So when I was younger, I did athletics. That was my sport where I came from. It was more sprinting, and hurdles was actually my sport. I did really well. I competed for Scotland, and I was in the Scottish record holding Bailey team as well. And I broke some schools records. For the 4x3 and 4x1. So the really good Scottish record for that. And then I broke a couple of schools records for my hurdles as well. So they still stand. I check every year just to make sure that they're not getting beaten. And then I went to university, left school about 17. So just before then, I got my first boyfriend, found alcohol, socializing, all that good stuff. Basically just went completely off the rails, just gave up all sport, went to uni and didn't care what I was eating, what I was drinking, and piled on probably. I must have been about 25 kilos heavier than I am now. So I went a couple of years like that, and it was about the start of 2023 I had my epiphany and went back to it. And I feel like I'm a very all or nothing person. Sometimes it's in my favor, other times not so much. But for fitness, I just went straight for it and I just never looked back. And now I just can't believe where I am now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like obviously like a quick rise to success since you started back, and like obviously got a lot of fitness back, but like having the athletic background, I mean, must have really helped to be able to get back into it.
It was I think it was a lot of muscle memory as well. Like a lot of people always ask me how I'd done it so quickly, and I feel like I can't really give a fair answer because it wasn't technically coming from nothing. You know, I'd obviously had that understanding of it, and I knew how to get to where I wanted to be. I just wasn't executing it before.
Yeah. And this is actually a discussion that I've had probably twice in the last 2 days, was that it's important for people to remember that like not everybody's created equal. So like your natural base level of fitness, you could potentially be like, there's a reason there's Olympic athletes and there's a reason that there's people who are not Olympic athletes. Like you play some sort of genetic lottery and sort of obviously
100%.
you work hard at it, but like if you're naturally fitter than someone else, then that's
and you
like
play to your
obviously part
strengths
of
as
it.
well. Like my body and my fitness is physically just perfect for Hyrox. So of course I'm going to go and do that. Whereas I probably would be terrible at something like dancing or something like that. I'm not built for that, so I'm obviously not going to do that. So you have to just play to your strengths and think what works for you, basically.
But would you say when it comes to Hyrox, you're more like would you say you're more like a strength-based athlete or running based? What would you say?
I
Or
feel
would you
like
say?
when the term hybrid athlete came out, I finally resonated with something. I genuinely thought put me in a bunch of weightlifters, they're going to put me to shame every time. Put me amongst a bunch of runners, I'm probably not going to win a running race. I'll do well, but I'm a quick runner for Hyrox, but I'm not a quick runner for runners. So put them both together and I can kind of be, competent at both. So it works in my favor.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. And like the level now of like the people who are doing this, it's just like gone completely crazy. If you're able to sort of hang in up there, it's pretty good because obviously you've done pretty well in competitions before, right? In Hyrox.
Yeah. So I got fit, so I lost loads and loads of weight. I found spin, that was my thing. Started going to spin classes at Revolution, which is now where I work. Started the spin classes in January 2023. Lost all the weight over a course of maybe about 6 months, and then I lost the weight. I was pretty happy. Started going to the gym and lifting some weights and things like that, gaining a bit of muscle. And then somebody in, I think it was April 2024, was like, "Oh, you need to try a Hyrox class," and I was like, "I've got no idea what that is, but sure." It looked fun. And then come the November of 2024, I booked my first Hyrox and I won. It was a bit, I don't know what happened. It was just a bit of a crazy, crazy experience. And then I've had quite a bit of success since then. So it's just been such a quick rise, it seems. And it's about
And
holding on.
yeah, exactly. And you do know that's not the norm for most of us. Like most of us book our first Hyrox and we come.
Yeah, it was totally took me by surprise as well. But it was such an amazing experience, and I just loved it and fell. And also, I totally get that my situation is quite unique. Not most people are not going to book their first Hyrox and win.
Yeah.
However, it also just proves to me that anybody can get to a level of fitness to even do the Hyrox in the first place. Like it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter that I won the Hyrox. It's the fact that I completed the Hyrox, that I took the steps to try and get there. So
Yeah. It makes sense.
yeah,
It's
so
really
anybody
cool.
can
And
do
like
it.
how
Yeah.
it's actually a really good sort of journey to go along of doing like lots of run coaching. And previously I worked in a Hyrox gym here in Dubai and like really enjoyed the process of like helping someone to get to that.
Yeah, it's so rewarding.
I wouldn't say it's like, for me, I obviously have probably take more rewards out of like coaching someone to say like a marathon, but I do feel like Hyrox is a very, very hard competition, but something that is truly attainable for every person.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like it's accessible. So it's not like, and even if it's not accessible for like, injury or something like that, they have all these Hyrox accessible ones. So anybody can basically do it.
Yeah.
And it is super hard and super tough. You've probably seen people go to do it and they take sometimes hours to do it, but
Of course.
if they're able to complete it, then it's just it's a
Yeah,
massive achievement.
I kind of compare it in a sense to a marathon. Obviously, I know a marathon is something that's probably not accessible to most people, that they won't do it in their life. The way the feeling it, finishing it, sorry, makes them feel is kind of comparable. It's just a feat that people set for themselves, and it's a really good goal to achieve, so that you can kind of tick it off. And it's the same no matter where you go, so you can go and replicate it and train for it. And it's a really good benchmark to set yourself.
What do you think of, I get this question all the time because people come or used to come at the gym and people find themselves getting like chronically injured when it comes to Hyrox. What do you think, it's a fact that people often do get into that sort of situation. What do you think the main reason for that is? And is there like a way that you try and work around that? Or, do you think have you got any thoughts on it?
I think for the most part, the amount of injuries that come from Hyrox is underfueling is probably the main one, and also comparing themselves to others who are doing a lot of volume and things like that, and thinking that that's what you need to do to be able to get good at Hyrox. And I'm not saying that the volume isn't beneficial. However, if you're going from running 20k in a week, you should not be running k in the next week, and then doing 7 Hyrox sessions. And so, like in all the intense Hyrox sessions, the way to get better at Hyrox is not by replicating Hyrox. You don't want that intensity every single time, because you're just going to absolutely fry your nervous system. You need to increase your volume running and also lift weights and all that other stuff as well. I probably do one in high intensity Virgin on zone 4-5 session, one a week, and that's plenty.
Yeah, that's like probably the most important thing there for people to think about. Is like I see it so often where someone will go in and, like you say, volume, but obviously come with volume. Volume is fine as long as it's at a manageable intensity.
Yeah.
But what people try and do is they try and do volume and intensity at the same time.
Yeah,
and that's like, I mean, even for people that I don't coach, like I don't really coach anyone individually for Hyrox anymore, but say somebody's saying, oh, what do you think I could do to go to do better? I'll say, well, try and reduce the intensity of some of the sessions you're doing. You know, focus on things like, individual lifting sessions,
Absolutely.
low intensity running sessions. And even if you see the best Hyrox athletes, I don't really follow any of the pro female ones, but for example, the pro male ones that I follow do a lot of work on their ergs and the bikes and things like that to work on their sort of aerobic endurance, away from, you know, just pounding miles running, where if they can do something sort of simple like 5 minutes on the bike, take the pressure off. I think that's something that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people miss that. And I guess I've probably got Instagram to blame for that, because Instagram's such a highlight reel of everybody's training, where even the pros and the people who are really good are obviously going to highlight the fact they're running 90k a week and they're doing this smash fest Hyrox sessions because it looks amazing on Instagram, doesn't it?
Yeah. Nobody wants to see you sitting on a bike for 3 hours. Like, nobody cares about that part. Yeah, everybody just wants to see the work.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's all.
Or
I also think volume is relative.
Or mobility.
Yeah, exactly. The volume, high volume as well, is relative to every single person, because there's some Hyrox athletes who are running 100k in a week. If I ran 100k in a week, I'd be out for 2 weeks after, so it'd be totally not beneficial. Whereas I could do 3k running and then spend maybe 4 hours of the week on the bike, and it's it'll all have the same benefit. So, and also I feel like Hyrox athletes are just so bad for claiming they're running zone 2 and things like that, but they think if their pace starts with a 6, then that's not, that can't be, I must be so unfit or whatever. So it's comparison, and it's gonna put people in the bin.
Yeah. I've seen it too many times of everybody doing their runs like at threshold or above, thinking that obviously that's the kind of running they need to do for the Hyrox, which is true, but ultimately if you try and do all your runs at that, you're going to pay a price at some point, and it might not come. It might not come for a long time, and I think that's what people sort of fail to see, is they see somebody like a big name YouTube, Instagram person and going, right, she's doing 140k a week and she's doing 4 quality sessions and 4 hour-and-a-half Hyrox Smash Fest. Eventually, it might not break for like a year and a half, but eventually they will break down, and they'll get to a point where they either get chronically injured, they will no longer be able to make progression doing that because it's not sustainable. They might just, I see loads of people who just eventually like wrap their tits in, where they just say, this isn't for me anymore, because they just drive themselves into the ground.
Because there's no way that that's enjoyable, feeling like that. So yeah, they just.
But your body's just in a constant state of stress, isn't it?
Exactly, it's just fight or flight. So
yeah, which is like obviously really good to mix it up. But I mean, we can learn these lessons hopefully from the mistakes. But sometimes I think people need to make the mistakes themselves. Do you know, I've done periods myself where I've like massively overtrained, and I'm like, right, 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay, that was daft. But if someone tells you, sometimes you need to like,
sometimes you need
the stove's hot, you want to touch it a little bit just to make sure it's like, exactly. So what does your typical weekly split look like for your training at the moment?
So I've actually got a coach for Hyrox. His name is Marcus. So he coaches me. I'll show you if I can get it up. So he gives me my programming for every week, which I do a little bit of my own stuff as well, because obviously I do my work. So I'm a spin instructor. I don't know if I said that at the start of this. I'm a spin instructor. I also teach reformer Pilates as well. So I spend a lot of time on the bike out with work, out with my trainings for work. and I do a lot of Pilates as well. So I'm kind of always on the go for work as well. So my training is all additional to that. So on Monday, I'll start with a long, easy run, or long-ish. So today I've got programmed a 65-minute run, followed by 4 30-second, a little bit quicker, just to kind of get that pace ticking over. Tuesday will be my Hyrox specific strength, lower body focus. So Hyrox specific strength, meaning like we'll do movements that would help assist in things like sled push and things like that. So I'm not going to be sitting back squatting and things because it doesn't really fit into my plan. It doesn't. So my weightlifting sessions wouldn't look like a typical bodybuilder's weightlifting sessions. Wednesday, I do an interval session. Thursday is my rest day. Friday, I do a threshold session. And then Saturday, I have my upper focused Hyrox session with a little bit of Hyrox conditioning at the end. And then Sunday is my kind of threshold Hyrox session. So that'll be runs with bits of station as well. So it's a jam-packed week.
Yeah, and then every Monday it ticks over, and you would say it's like on a 7-day cycle, it just restarts again, and you do quite similar.
Exactly.
That's quite nice. That's quite nice that it works.
It'd be like this week I've got 65 minutes. Next week I'll maybe have 70 or something like that. It changes. So it just be, and the sessions will be measurable. So they'll be increasing every week, but they won't be changing. So I'm not going to have, I don't know, like fully different exercises, because you need to make sure you're progressing each time. Progressive overload. It's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, of course. I think that's a really good thing a couple of good points there. You're getting your strides in. People who watch my podcast will know that I am big on strides. I've done about 7 podcasts just talking just about that. Easiest bang for buck you can do for free speed for people who are runners out there, Hyrox athletes, everyone. Add in your strides at the end of every easy run and recovery run, and I could go on about that. Another thing is, progressive overload. You don't need to change the sessions every week in order to make massive progression. So I try and sort of put this across to, just in general for general coaching notes, where you don't, it's nice to do different sessions to make the variation, but in terms of like a strength, say even strength for runners, strength for Hyrox, if you pick like 6 lower exercises, 6 upper exercises, and do that twice a week consistently for 6 weeks, that's going to be really fantastic for you, rather than doing like, I'm going to go once a week, do a hero session with 10 different exercises, feel amazing, then not go back for 2 weeks, do different exercises the next time. I just think like to try and build simplicity off the same exercises is really key.
Yeah. It's also just not measurable. Like, how do you even know you're improving if you're doing like 7 million AMRAPs with all these different exercises, and the next week you're doing like push pull legs? Like, you just don't know. Like, there's no way to measure it and to even know if you're progressing in any way. And also, people lose interest in it because the stuff that works is boring. Obviously, you can make things a little bit more exciting by changing up and, I don't know, doing different AMRAPs, EMOMs, all that stuff. But for the most part, it's not easy, but it is simple.
That's my next question for you, because I would say that I'm the kind of person that if it's in my training plan to do it, I actually don't necessarily care whether it's boring. If I'm quite happy to just go and do it because I'm like, oh, there's a goal here. But I know that I reckon, even of the people I coach and people I have coached, I'd say 75% of the time people want something different because they don't want to do boring, and they probably find the motivation to do it. So what do you find these sessions boring, or are you probably more like me? And if you have ever come across those challenges, like what do you do to sort of get around that sort of mental block?
I mean, I do. Some of the times I do find it boring. Sometimes I couldn't think of anything worse than going and doing my sessions, but if it's written down, I love ticking a box. I just find that very satisfying. And I also think when your sessions are programmed well, which is why you would invest in a good coach like yourself for running, or a Hyrox specific coach, you know that they're working towards a bigger picture. So it might be boring, but it just depends how badly you want it, really. I mean, it might be boring, but I can feel my sessions working. I come away from a session, I'm like, I know that that's going to really benefit me in the future, in the long run. So it's worth it for me. I don't really struggle with that too much. I struggle with motivation sometimes, but discipline will always just get me ticking that box, regardless how boring it is.
Sometimes you just got to get through it. Hey, like you could probably 100%. Think like, same as you've got a 65-minute run tonight, I've got literally the exact same thing, recovery run tonight. And like right now, 12:47 p.m. I can think of nothing worse than in 4 hours putting my trainers on and
No,
going to do
literally.
that. Like, I'm going to go do it, but it's just it
It's
is
funny
what it is.
because
I know
people
that
look
if
at
I
us
want
and
to
think
achieve,
that, yeah, it's people probably look at us and think that it just comes so easily. But honestly, like there's so many other things I would rather do, but you just have to get it done. It's just,
I think it comes like in time though, because like I mean, I was almost guaranteed, like I was much more offensively fat than you were. I was like really, really extremely overweight before. But like me, no, I was like really, really overweight. But for me to do stuff like that, like back in the day when I was like like extremely unfit, it was harder. But then like over time, almost exercising that part of your brain to be like, right, I'm gonna go do it anyway. Like
yeah,
regard, like when on the days I don't fancy it, like so I know what it's like to go from like when I say to people like I've been there, sort of,
yeah,
I've not wanted to bother my arse to even do a 10-minute run. Like
yeah.
I don't even want to put my trainers on, but like I
There's
know what it's
also,
like, and you
I
probably.
think from, especially you'll probably relate, coming from being overweight and unhappy. Yeah, these sessions might be hard. Yeah, it might be tough to go and put your trainers on and go run, but nothing is as tough as absolutely hating what you see in the mirror, feeling out of breath trying to walk up the stairs, being embarrassed when people are taking pictures of you. Like,
Mm.
yeah, the session might be hard, but I can tell you that was a lot harder. So I do not want to go back there.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So it's all
yeah,
relative.
I think
You just get it done.
it's all relative. It comes from like a place of like, you want to get better, place of positivity. You're eventually going to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
I think if you're like come from a place of like negativity, like I can't believe I have to go and do this stuff. Like I know all the coaches and we like all say the same cliches, but we've eventually come around to understand that ultimately that's what it's all about. Like where you're like, oh no, I'm like I get to go and do a 65-minute easy
Yeah.
run tonight, and like I'm not going to die on it because
Yeah.
I've earned the right to be able to do that. It's like so much more rewarding to think like I can't believe I have to go and do this like rubbish. Like
Yeah,
I'm going to feel like
it
rubbish.
totally
Like
is
you know what
once
I
you
mean?
reframe. Yeah, it is cliche and we all say it, but you get to do it. That's the beauty of it is nobody's making you do it, nobody's forcing you. It's the fact that you go and do it yourself because you can, and you know it's going to make you feel better. You know it's good for you. It's going to take you where you want to be. You are. I always say you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. So you can have this plan. I can have all these sessions written out, but it means nothing if I don't go and tick them off. So
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can make up the perfect
yeah,
plan, yeah, but you've got to go and
exactly. Got
execute
to
them.
exactly.
Do you currently coach any athletes privately for Hyrox?
I've got a couple of online clients at the minute. So when I made the move to Dubai, I quietened down a little bit with my coaching just because I didn't really know what life would look like over here. So just before Christmas, maybe in October, November, I opened for some hybrid coaching, took on a couple of new clients for that. So they are working towards Glasgow Hyrox at the minute, which is in March. But I do want to really expand this over 2026. That's one of my goals. And just share what I
Amazing.
know because I feel like especially because I've came from a place of not really being fit at all to having such high rock success, I can see it from every place. My coaching at first initially was more for weight loss and things like that because that's what I knew. But now I am kind of pushing more into the performance coaching kind of side of things. Athletes who want to just better their performance in any way they can.
How do you sort of find that balance between like coaching and like you doing it? Do you ever feel like sometimes you're in it too much, or do you just like purely enjoy it? Like there's nothing but enjoyment for it. Like sometimes I feel like all I do is talk about running coaching, and all I do is run, and like I'm probably like a broken record when I'm doing it. And do you ever sometimes feel like you've made it almost your personality, like oh,
Yeah,
100%? Sometimes like
100%.
that's just how I
Yeah.
feel.
Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like, oh my God, these people probably think I'm so boring. But I think, to be honest, I actually don't have that much because the people I've surrounded myself with are the people who kind of are in the same boat and they have the same mad obsession. We might be obsessed with a little bit different things like high rocks or running or swimming, triathlon, anything, but we've all got that little craziness in us. It doesn't matter what it is, but
Mm.
yeah, and I'm just so passionate about it. I mean, I think you can tell when somebody's passionate about something, they just glow when they speak about it. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's really good. What would you say like the biggest challenges like across the board you see for like people that you do coach? Like for example, for me, like most of the time I'd say typically it's about getting people to get out of their own way for running. Like, they'll either be doing too much. Most of the time it's about holding people back, focusing on quality sessions rather than pure quality, and then just, obviously get a plan that they can follow consistently. And I'd say that's like the major problems. But what would you say for the more hybrid stuff? Like, what would you say is the major problems that you sort of encounter?
Timekeeping and fueling are quite difficult ones. So timekeeping, obviously, because I'm in a fortunate position where I do something active and fit for work, so I find it quite easy. I'm constantly in a gym and things like that, so I obviously need to put myself in other people's shoes who are doing a full-time office job. It's not as easy to get your steps and things like that. And obviously, a lot of hybrid training is a lot of different sessions. So you need to go to the gym, you need to do runs, all this kind of stuff. So timekeeping, fueling, people. If you're serious about hybrid training or any training at all, really, if you want to perform well, you need to be fueling adequately. And a lot of people, I think, especially girls that I coach, are scared by that because they're kind of taken aback by how much you actually need to be putting into your body, especially carbs, because we all just get told that carbs are the devil when we're younger for some reason. So trying to get out of that. And yeah, same with getting in their own way, striving for perfection when they don't do things exactly as I've written them down, or paces. They just throw the towel in and think, oh, I'm shit, what's the point if I couldn't hit pace?
That's a good one.
Sometimes I do my sessions and I get nowhere near pace, but I get as close as I can, and I'll still do the session. So if it's, say, 4 sets of 10 minutes at threshold, I'll still do 4 sets of 10 minutes. It might not be as fast as I want it to, but I still put in the same RPE, So
that's exactly what I spoke about on the Instagram post I did about 2 hours ago, where I said, ultimately, race day, this situation that happens in training might often happen in race day, where, if I have somebody who's going out to do Hyrox and they're going to do their 1Ks, and we're going to do it at 4 minutes 30 a K, there's a good chance that it might, potentially, they might not be able to hold 4:30s on the day because of, it might be their time of the month, or they might not have slept very well for the last 2-3 days. They might have a baby.
Absolutely.
They might have just feel like rubbish. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it's something that sort of needs to be thought about. So if they go into the training and sort of think, I'm going to do my best today, that's like obviously super important that people try and go and do their best on the day.
Yeah.
That they're in, rather they're on like the best ideal situation. The Katie that's feeling super, super good and fueled and feeling electric, I just think people like that is a great takeaway for people that they should really sort of think about. And like RPE is a magical thing, and effort.
Yeah.
And understanding your body. And especially if you're new to training, I think people should really start to think like, it's all like learning or experience, like you understand your feeling in RPEs and pacings because you probably do 3 sessions a day in the gym. When you're doing spin classes, you know the difference when you're on the spin bike and you're going, today I'm just cycling around because I'm taking the class. I'm going to use this as a session. I'm going to push and feel a bit more,
Exactly.
Whereas if you're new to maybe Hyrox and you're maybe only 6 months in, experiment a little about that RP, experiment a little between the sessions, feeling good, feeling bad. And, always try and make notes. Like, if you've got a training journal or a coach, use that person or that resource to either write down how you feel and report back. I think would you say that's probably a fair thing that people could be doing?
100%. Use everything that you've got to help. Because I always say to my clients, I say, some days you might wake up and feel 80%. But if you give that 80% in your session, that's still 100% of what you had that day that you gave, so it's not always going to feel like the easiest thing in the world. It's not going to feel like the best session of your life, but you still gave everything you had, and you still followed the session, just maybe not exactly to pace or anything like that. So I think that's so important, rather than just beating yourself up.
A broad run classic is some days you're the hammer and some days you're the nail, and that's what I tell people. Some days you're there and you're going to have. Today I wouldn't say I was one of those big hammers, but I was like one of the little ones. I was still like doing something because I went up and I was chipping away because I was supposed to do 25 minutes at 4:30, 5 minutes at 4:15, and then 5 minutes at 4:05. But I think I did 25 minutes at 4:40, then 4:25, and then 4:11. So I was pretty much there.
Yeah,
but I know that there'd be people who would be like, that session was a failure because I was literally like 5 or 6 seconds per K off.
Yeah, I'm
But I
getting
was like,
slower.
you know
Like, what's
what?
even the point? Like, all this is rubbish. Like, I have those thoughts in my head, but I have the tools to be able to talk myself out of that. That's what I try and give to other people.
No, yeah, and that's like why you're probably a good coach and people will sort of appreciate that. Like, I've seen some absolutely garbage coaches in my time who will probably just relay and say like that's not good enough.
Yeah, you're shit.
I do, yeah, it's just like part of being a good coach is obviously understanding and being empathetic towards the fact that
Absolutely.
that was my head. I was giving it, I can absolutely guarantee on that last 5 minutes today, I was giving it my absolute best, like the hardest I could run, and I was doing a 4:11. But like, on another day, that might have been a 3:55. You know what I mean?
It
It's
would.
just like,
It absolutely would.
wow, we just keep trying to work towards it and try and get as best as we can.
Yeah.
We normally do a thing on this podcast at some point. I just remembered it now. That's why I was thinking. So I always put something into the box, the room 101 of things that you ban from training, life, whatever, anything like that. So one of my things that I put in there is fasted training. It's not allowed, no one's allowed to do fasted training for all the benefits that like people say that you get, for the amount you have to think about what it is and your intensity and specificity and the amount of other food you're going to eat during the day. Most of us have got bad relationship with food anyway. Just have some food and go out and train. So I put fasted training in my room 101. It's always in there. But have you got something where you hear like, it could be anything. Have you got something where you're like, I don't want that ever again in my gym. Don't bring that up to me again. It's out, or it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I feel like you've told the best one. The training's a good one. Fasting at all for females, I think, is just not a good idea. After, I'm going to say 2 p.m., but I like to stick to 4 p.m. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so definitely fasted training. I think that unless you're a bodybuilder about to step on stage, why are you doing like an hour fasted cardio in the morning? I don't know. Fasted training for females,
That's out. That's out
yeah,
already.
yeah, that's gone.
It's just not worth it, is it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
intermittent
just literally
fasting in
like
general, I
this.
think, for girls as well, and also not working around your cycle as a female. That's out. And let me think.
That's a controversial one because other coaches would say, because of the individuality of it around all the different people. I mean, I've had other discussions about this, that some people obviously individually are still able to train. Obviously,
Yeah, I
I
think.
don't personally have a cycle. I can't personally say, but obviously, I mean, having spoke to different athletes, I'm always interested to hear the subject because it's definitely, number one, not spoken about enough, so people
Yeah,
don't know
100%.
what it is about. So, like, what would you say is your take? And obviously,
My take
like,
is
explain to me.
you can definitely train obviously around your period and your cycle, but I think it does need to be altered, and holding yourself to the same standards at different points in your cycle just is totally not beneficial at all. So, and I think as well, especially if you're a female who's training around a lot of men, you can't compare the way they feel. I think I'm pretty sure it's men work so obviously we work on a monthly cycle and men are 24 hours. So just
24
yeah,
hours.
every day. There will be points of the month where it's a lot harder and it feels a lot harder, but also you just need to alter your training. You need to learn your body. I mean, it's you know what works for you, and based on energy levels and things, sometimes you need to learn when it's good to push it and when it's better to pull back. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of
I
people,
think just in general, just be like kinder to yourself in terms of like,
100%.
if you've got like 3 or 4 days of the month where let's imagine this is anything, 3 or 4 days of the month where you're like not operating at your best, it's probably okay to be kinder to yourself and just be like, right, okay, when I feel better, I'm going to start pushing again.
Yeah,
Because
I feel like in the last
whether
couple of
that's
years, like grind culture has just been so ingrained in us all. Like grind, sleep, wake up at 5 a.m., go to bed at 10 p.m. Like, do you know what I mean? Not sleeping enough. Not that's that is in my no list
you
actually.
can,
That's adding one on is
you can
prioritizing
put as
sleep.
many things in there as you want.
Yeah, prioritizing sleep over training, that's a yes. So the opposite of that is a no. So if I had a session scheduled and I could only fit it in at 5 a.m. the next day, but it's 11 o'clock at night, and it means I'm not going to have beneficial sleep and I'm probably not going to feel good, then the training's out, the sleep is in, we sleep. That's as soon as I started prioritizing sleep above all, honestly, my training skyrocketed. I couldn't believe how much of a tool it was. People think it's an optional thing, but it's absolutely, probably, arguably
Mm.
up there, probably more important than training and equally as important as nutrition. So,
I think Dubai is as a whole is an underslept place, and
and
I'm
people think it's a
I'm probably
flex.
number one guilt. It's not a flex. I would give
Yeah,
anything to probably sleep till 8 o'clock every morning.
yeah, and you would if you could,
Fortunately,
but
no,
you've got,
fortunately, I would if I could, but I've got to get up. But what I do is prioritize rest earlier or whenever I'm able to prioritize it in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't
My
matter when
day,
it is.
my day yeah. My day is like 5 a.m. and that means I'm dead by 7 p.m. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I go and try and do 11 p.m., forget about it. I'm
Yeah,
like completely gubbed the next
yeah,
day.
totally. And it's just learning when to call it a day. And I think as well, Dubai is particularly bad for this because there's constantly things going on, and it's like FOMO beyond belief. Like you think that if you miss a
Yeah,
session that everybody else is doing, that something magical is going to happen. I promise it won't. Like
yeah.
nothing's going to happen if you miss that one session. And I've been guilty of
But
it,
you never
especially.
know.
I know, but it might, especially as a newbie in Dubai. Honestly, I was at every run club, every session, like, and a few weeks in, I was like, oh my God, can the world just stop for a second and let me catch up? So,
It is a mile a minute city. And like, I'm not joking that when we were in Glasgow, I had my run club that I went to on a Monday, a Wednesday. On a Saturday, I trained myself. They were the only two things I did during the week. I'm not even joking that I would sometimes go like 3 weeks without doing one other thing. I would just go to those two sessions, and then on the Saturday, I'd go and do my own long run, come home, sit in the garden and do
literally,
nothing else.
literally,
But like I felt like, but here I just like you get sucked into, I'm not saying that was a bad thing, by the way. I really enjoyed my life and it was great. Here you get sucked into so many different things. X, Y, and Z's going on a boat for their birthday. Let's go there on a Saturday. We're playing paddle on a Sunday. And then on Sunday afternoon, we're going for a roast. And then we're all going to do a Hyrox class. And then Monday morning, we've got tempo. And Tuesday morning, you've got sub club. And then Wednesday night we've got paddle again, and then
the
it's
track, and
someone's
then it's, yeah,
birthday. You're like,
I know,
it's track on Thursday, and then before you know it, you're like
I know.
7 days a week, and then you
I do love
forget
it
to.
though. I do say we joke and we laugh about it, but it is amazing. But it is also really important to know yourself and know when it's good to say no to things.
So how overall have you found the transition, and do you feel like you've settled into Dubai life now? And what would you say is your favorite thing about here?
Oh, I mean, favorite thing is the fitness scene. There's like, it's simply, I've never experienced anything like it in my life. And it just
Hmm.
suits me as well. The early mornings and everything, it just suits me to a T. So when so I arrived in, it's now 19th of January. I came in the last couple of days of August. So I've been here for almost 6 months now.
Hmm.
And I came with work. So I came with two people I knew already. So that was kind of nice. It made it a little bit easier. And then I met Cara the day I got here, so that made it a lot easier because she just adopted me from the get go. And it was really easy transition for me. I feel a really beneficial situation since I just kind of went to all these run clubs and I ended up meeting loads of like-minded people. And I think the thing about Dubai as well is everybody can remember what it was like to be that guy who came not really knowing, so they
Hmm.
all just want you to feel welcome. And now I hope that I can eventually be that for other people. I feel like I've just been totally welcomed with open arms and I absolutely love it. And the fitness scene is just, it's just absolutely incomparable to anything else I've ever seen. I mean, at Kite Beach on a morning, you can't get a space because there's so many cars there because everybody's out running. I mean, that's like unfathomable to my Scottish brain.
Yeah. Imagine like Strathclyde Country Park. You couldn't park your car because too many people are running.
Probably because too many people are lying steaming in the car park.
I know. What would you change, if anything, from here? Like, what would you say? I mean, it could be anything. What would you say? Is there anything that you
Laptop's
think
got
is like,
1%. I'm going to have to take my headphones out. Will that change? Wait, let's see if I take them out. Will that change anything?
don't know?
Oh, it just said the recording stopped.
No, that's fine.
I think you might need to click record, like start a recording again.
No, I don't think so.
Can you still? It said recording stopped. Are you still recording?
Really? Yeah.
So see now up at the top
Well,
it says 20 seconds for me.
it's recording on this side. We'll just keep going. If it stops there, it stops there.
Do you definitely have the first 40 minutes? I'm scared in case that's gone then.
Yeah, just don't switch it off. Still says 84% uploaded.
Okay, so you've still got it all.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, right, perfect. Right, you asked the question again. Would I change anything about
Would
Dubai?
you change anything in Dubai? Would you change anything?
What would I change? There's the traffic. I would change the traffic. I would change the fact that you can't put petrol in your car yourself. That annoys me.
Why? That's so random.
Like, I don't know. I know. It's just one of those things that really annoys me. I just think it's like when you're in a rush, it's actually slower than anything. Like you're just sitting like.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like I wish I could just get out and do it myself. But for the most part, what would I change? Nothing really. Like I miss some of my home comforts, but nothing that would make me want to leave really badly.
It always blows my mind that no matter what day, time, or anything, you go to the petrol station, there are always hundreds of people there. Like, I've never been to a petrol station, there's not anybody there. There's just a massive queue all the time. And I just think,
that's one thing.
If I think, like, back home, when I had, like, where we stayed in Glasgow, there was, like, one petrol station, and that was it. And it was always free. But here, there's, like, 50 million petrol stations, and they're always just absolutely rammed.
Yeah, because I'm always like, oh, should I go to this one or this one? I'm like, it literally doesn't matter. They're both going to be full. I'm going to have to sit there and wait. But yeah, that's crazy, but nothing. And also, I love the fact that Dubai is that everything's always open. So, like, even because I stayed here over Christmas, and you know that couple of days before Christmas at home, and you're like, oh, I need to make sure I go to the shops and get everything I need because like the shops will be closed for 2 days. Whereas, like, you could get toilet paper creamed to your door in 10 minutes on Christmas Day. I mean, obviously, I know it's a Muslim country, so Christmas not so much, but New Year and things like that.
No, yeah, it is super convenient, and that's something that like my family personally like can't wrap their heads around when they come here, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to get like something delivered, and it gets delivered in the house in 15 minutes, and they're literally just like, that's completely crazy. And it's crazy how quickly you get used to that level of convenience. Like you go from just being like someone who never really would order anything online to like every 5 seconds, you're just like, I'm going to get it because it's easier.
I would never ever order things online back home, like, or especially not food or anything like that. I would always just go to the shop. But last night I got a Pepsi Max, 1 can of Pepsi Max delivered for 9 dirhams because I really, really wanted it with my dinner. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I would never normally do that, but it's just crazy. We're absolutely spoiled with the convenience. But
when you do it, it feels so good when that Pepsi Max gets delivered, hey? It's so good.
It was amazing.
I really like how easy and accessible, like, healthy food is, like, and you're able to sort of, if you've got, like, I've got the tendency to eat absolute shite, and that's just from, like,
you and me
if I go back to Glasgow, every day we were back in Glasgow, I was having square sausage, tatty scone, haggis rolls. I get into lunchtime, I was having Greggs, I was having sausage rolls, but I was just because I was passing by the shop, and I was like, not that, like, but here, you're not passing by a Greggs every, like, 30 seconds.
We're smelling it.
By the way, one thing I hate about Dubai is when people say passing by, and that's one of my pet hates, but now I've started saying it. I've just realized I said passing by. People always say that in Dubai. I don't know why it annoys me. But, so yeah, but here, you can go anywhere at any time of the day and get something like semi-decent. Like I'm sitting here and I've got like my Matter meal prep here for the busy coach that's running about to 3 different places in one day, and I can just go, oh, that's delivered every day, macro controlled. It's cheaper than making food. So like,
also, that's what I was gonna say. So when you go on all the food apps or anything, they've got a healthy tab, and it just is all these. And when you get them, they're macro counted often, and when you get them, you can tell when something's healthy. You know, sometimes you go to like some of these restaurants in Glasgow that say they're healthy, but it's dripping in oil, and I'm like, something's not adding up here. Whereas these things actually, and also there's no such thing as a healthy takeaway in Scotland. That doesn't really exist. Whereas, and also the meal prep is just, I just can't. I do Callo meal prep at the minute, and it gets delivered to my door between 3 and 6 every morning, every single morning. Like,
so good. It's literally unbelievable.
It is insane.
Have you got any to go back onto after we've just reminisced about roll and square sausage? Have you got any fitness goals or anything like running goals or Anything
Yes.
coming up in the next couple of weeks? You know, we obviously went out and smashed the sub club last Tuesday, and like, you know,
Yes.
for those of you who don't know, you got like, you know, third fastest female on that Kite Beach section, but we know that you're faster than that. Do you have any like speed-based goals? Do you have any performance-based goals? Do you have any like more wholesome, enjoy my life type goals?
Yes.
What's the situation?
So always got goals, always working towards something. So at the minute, I am working my main goal, which I've been wanting to tackle for a while, is a sub 40 10K, which I feel like is just been like a mental block for me. I feel like looking at all my stats, you would think that I should have that, but it's just one of those things. It just really puts the fear into me. Cara and I are actually going to tackle that at the Dubai Marathon on the 1st of January. They do a 10K road race as well. So,
I'm running it
1st of
too.
February.
I'm
So,
running the 10K too.
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Oh, we'll run together then. So yeah, sub 40 for that. That's my goal. And then
I'll be there. I'll be in the same race, but we're not running together.
yes, we will. And then
Okay.
I also have Birds to Birds. Of course, Birds to Birds, to be honest, was a big selling point for me coming out to Dubai, because I'd never been to Dubai before, and I thought it just sounded like obviously it's a big event, which I think would be good. And I'm in the sub 130 pen for that, which is good. So hopefully I'll have a good clean streak for a good race. I think on a good day, my PB at the minute is high one to almost 129. I would love, obviously, to go anything faster than that. 127, I wouldn't grumble at. So we'll see. And then Hyrox goals. I mean, to be competitive, I need to be looking at my PB right now is a 103. I need to be looking at 102,
Open.
101. No, pro.
Pro. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you
And I'm
need
doing a
to.
mixed doubles with Dave Kelly in India in April. So that'll be good. That'll be fast.
That'll be a good tester, and you guess you'll
Yes.
know where your fitness is at based on your half marathons coming up. So that'll be super exciting.
Yeah.
I dare say that you probably are capable of faster than that. The times you said like a sub 40 based on your PBs, but like I've had personally like mental blocks on distances and stuff. Like for example, I did in 2022 or 23, I can't remember. I did a 40-minute exactly 10K, and then about 3 weeks that was a tune-up for my half marathon. But you think like based off a 40-minute, like I should be able to go and do like a sub 90 like pretty easy, but it's just not always the case.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't just automatically get the next pace based off like, you know, what you sort of what you got in a previous race. You know, like it's just one of those things in running and fitness. You just don't automatically get rewarded it for doing the work. You know, the work sometimes it takes a few races to click and stuff, but I'm absolutely sure that you will get it. Hopefully, if we can all run around that time, we'll all be pretty happy, and it'll be
I would
pretty
honestly
decent.
rather go and do a pro Hyrox than a flat out 10K.
One of the best things about 10Ks, or one of the best things to improve your 10K, is obviously doing more of the races, because they are mentally such a hard race. And one of the good things about Scotland and about the sort of Scottish road circuit is that all the local clubs host 10Ks. You know, probably most Friday nights or most Saturday mornings around say the Central Belt area, which is something that's probably missing here. There are a lot of races, but you know, there are races that are probably like not high profile, but you've got to go to Expo, you've got to go to somewhere else and pay. Some of them aren't cheap, you know, like you got to pay a decent bit of money to go and do these races, and there's a lot of pressure. Whereas if you go, they're quite expensive, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on with a race that's like a medal and a start and all this sort of stuff. Whereas the local races in Scotland are like, wee John has got his wee clipboard, and it's casual, and you can go and like race and then get better and race with people who are like, say, you'll go 4 or 5 races on the bounce with these guys who are, I run 39 minutes for fun. Come and run with us. Come and run with us. And then 3 or 4 races in, you get the chance to sort of be like, all right, I fulfilled my potential, or, you know, you can do a bit better. So I think that's something that I do miss here. And this is one of the reasons that I want to start the local park run scene that me and Danny are going to start in Dubai, because I honestly think it's missing. I know we've got the sub club thing, and that is really good. But I think if there was a set, you know, course every week that people are to go out and get that race experience, I think that would be 100%. Super good for people.
100%.
So we need to get that rocking and rolling. But
Yeah, it
it
does.
sounds exciting. It sounds like you've got some good plans, and I'm
Yeah, I
definitely
do.
excited to see what you're going to do. I don't see a marathon in your immediate future, but eventually I'll talk you around to a full
No,
marathon.
well, to be honest, I've got Stockholm Hyrox World Champs in June. So depending on when the Hyrox calendar in the UAE, if they ever want to get around to it, comes out, hopefully it's not after June, because if not, then between June and ideally October, I would consider a marathon block, because I don't just want to do a marathon and finish a marathon. I want to do a marathon and have really given my best foot forward. You know, I want to put a proper block in. I don't just want to do it for ego. I want to do it and really challenge myself. And I just want to see what it's all about. Especially, I feel like marathon culture in Dubai is so big, and I just want to know what everybody's talking about.
It is great. Just wait till you're old and washed up like me, and then you can do as many marathons as you want. Keep your speed in your legs for
I
now.
know it.
I do say this to people all the time, not like wait till that was just a joke, but like
Wait
people
till you're washed
rush.
up.
People rush to the marathon, like they rush and be like, I have to do this. Like
Yeah.
it comes in time, like, you know, there's absolutely no reason. And people think, oh, I'm maybe not an accomplished runner because I haven't done a marathon. People always ask, like, have you done a marathon? How many have you done? Like,
Yeah.
just tell them to politely F off and say, I'm not
Or
doing them
impolitely,
because I'm
that
doing
works
other
too.
stuff. Or impolitely, you know, but you don't have to do one, you know, to be a runner. And they are great crack and they
Yeah.
are enjoyable, but they also take such a toll on your body that often people take, like, you know, the marathon doesn't get treated with the respect it deserves
Yeah, I was
anymore.
gonna say, I
Whereas,
think
like, I feel like
I think in Dubai, because everybody does them, like it just seems that way. Like in the field that I think people maybe don't take it as seriously as they should. Like, and they think, oh, like, well, if everybody else is doing it, then I can go and do it. But I've watched like the people closest to me doing them, and just absolutely, they're a shell of a human come the end of the training block, and it's really no mean feat. That's for sure.
it absolutely is no mean feat. And like, I even think to go down and say like a half marathon's no mean feat.
Yeah, 100%.
To somebody, like, honestly, at some point in my, like, maybe 5 years ago, that was my Everest. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was
Yeah.
like, I did a half marathon. I was gubbed for about 2 weeks. I didn't want to train. I didn't want to do anything. That was my Everest. It was so difficult. And now I feel like it's been made to feel like it isn't such a fantastic and big achievement, whereas actually it is.
Totally get that.
And, you know, you obviously see people do a half marathon every other weekend down Kite Beach, and you're like, oh my God, these people are machines. And I think it sort of takes away from, you know, your own achievement. And that's where I would say another thing that goes in the bin is obviously comparison, because comparison's the thief of joy. Too often people try and say like, this is, you know, my achievement compared to this person, or they caveat their own achievement. Like, never caveat your own achievement. Be proud of them.
Somebody else's success doesn't discount yours, and
Yeah.
success is relative. Sometimes success for me looks like just getting out of bed and putting my shoes on and getting out of the house. Sometimes it looks like running an 18-minute 5K down Kite Beach. Like, everybody's success looks different, and yeah, comparison is the thief of joy, as you say. I love that. That's one of my favourite sayings.
Exactly. Get that stamped on the wall, get that tattooed, and that is probably a fantastic place to leave it. I realise that we've been talking for a good hour, but obviously could go on all day with all the sort of all these different things. Two Scots just waffling on. So tomorrow you're going to go down and smash your 5K down Kite Beach, right?
Yes. Are you
and
going to be there?
Hopefully we'll catch you. Tomorrow I have got, so actually in the next 3 weeks I've got a triathlon on Saturday that's halfway between the distance between an Olympic and a half Ironman. Next weekend I've got a half.
You're taking part?
On Saturday. Then the next weekend I've got a half Ironman, and then I've got Birds to Birds the next weekend, and then the weekend after that I've got another half Ironman. So I've got some bicycle training to do that I've not done.
Where's the half Ironman you're doing?
So one of them is in Abu Dhabi. It's like called Challenge Sir Banias. So it's half Ironman distance, but it's not run by Ironman events. So Challenge is the opposite. It's still a 70.3, and that's down in Abu Dhabi. And then 2 weeks after that is the main race, which is the Ironman 70.3 Muscat. So we're going to Oman. There's a whole bunch of us going down there. My running's been going great. My swimming's been doing great. but my cycling has not been existent. So I'm kind of just, it's on the back seat. I just stopped caring about it.
You can't have
Only on Sunday, only on Sunday did I sort of realize how cooked I am. When I was doing 2 hours on the bike, I was like, oh, I'm so deconditioned.
Where is the one on Saturday?
The one on Saturday is at Ras Al Khaimah, which is
right.
like so it's like the rack Olympic, and I think they call it I forgot the name of it. The distances they call it, the ones for like between. Yeah, it'll be great. So there's a whole bunch of us that are sort of going to run that. So
God, you've always got something going on.
I know, and that's a blessing and a curse.
Okay, you'll not be at a sub club then. You'll be on your bike.
But next week I will be.
Okay, good. We'll need to do more XBRP.
Well, that's next week. Official. It's in the diary.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in the diary. Every second week.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, great.
So that'll be good fun. So if you've got this far into the podcast, I appreciate you listening.
We do.
And also thanks very much. You can give Katie a follow on Instagram at SharkFit, which is your Instagram.
That's me.
And obviously, if you're looking for any hybrid, Hyrox, running coaching, anything like that, you can hit up Katie and she will help you. And then obviously, if you're in the UAE, you'll probably see her about lots of different events. So thank you very much, Katie. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.